Welcome to Chapter 6, Section 7, Proportions and Equations. Write an equation for a function. So we've already started this process. Write an equation to represent the function displayed. Examine how the values of each input and output changes. Here, each output y is equal to blank the input x. So you should see that if you multiplied each of those inputs by 9, you get the output. Now you can also see the 9 being used as a plus 9, plus 9, plus 9, plus 9. So from input to output, it's a multiplication. From output to output, it's addition. So the equation that represents this function is 9x. So let's look at this. Write an equation that represents. So here, from output to output, it's plus 11, plus 11, plus 11, and so on, which means you're multiplying the input by 11. So this is the work, and then your answer would simply be 11x. Y equals 11x. So, taking a look here, this is an example. Javier sells handmade notebooks. He charges $25 for each book. That means, obviously, one book was $25. Two books is $50. Each time you're adding 25 to the previous amount. But what you're looking at, the number of books is being multiplied by 25. So the total earned output is equal to, let's see, so B is equal to 25B. That means that if I sold 10 books, 250. 20 books, 500. Write an equation to find the total amount earned, T, for selling B books. Study the table from example 2. Total earned equals 25 times the number of books sold. Let T represent the total earned, and let B represent the number of books sold. And so T equals 25B, which makes sense. If T was 25, is 25 when B is 1. 25 times 1. When T is 50, it's 25 times 2, and so on. All right, how much will Javier earn if he sells 7 books? Well, we have the equation 25B. And since we're selling books, that number goes right here, which means I'm taking 25, multiplying by 7, which is 175. So they will earn 175 for selling 7 books. All right, babysitting. Jenna babysits on the weekend. She charges $8 an hour. So let's make a table. Let's make a table here to help us come up with the equation. We're going to put hours here and dollars here. You're going to look that for the 1 hour, it's 8. For 2 hours, if you work 2 hours at babysitting, you get $16. $3 is 24. And so on. Now you should be able to look at this table And from all the previous sections, realize that we're adding 8 each time, or we're multiplying the number of hours by 8. So if I have an unknown hour, h, it should be timesing that by 8. So my equation, V, so that's T, the total money earned is equal to $8 times the number of hours. That is the equation. So that helped us come up with the equation. That will help us determine if 14 hours, 8 times 14. You make $112 for 14 hours of babysitting. All right, we should almost be done. Take a look at this. This is a dog groomer and the total cost. You can see each time we're adding 12, which means from the input, we're multiplying the inputs by 12. So the cost of grooming is $12 per dog. For one dog, it's 12. The total cost, T, is 12 times the number of dogs. Therefore, the formula or the equation is 12D. Use this equation to total cost T of grooming 11 dogs. Well, we have this equation. We're going to replace D with 11. So it's 12 times 11, which ends up being 132. So the total cost of grooming 11 dogs is $132. The table shows some information here. If we're just coming up with the equation, each time you're adding 32 to the cost, which means we're multiplying the input by 32, which tells me automatically that if we have D times 32, my equation should be 32D. And that will give me the total cost. So the table, write a sentence and an equation to describe the data. So here is the equation, T equals 32D. This sentence would be, the cost rises $32 each day you rent. Okay. So that's the sentence. Here's the equation. And now I know 9 days, so that 9 gets plugged into D. And it costs, the total cost is $288. So, what is your homework? Well, you're done with your note-taking guides. Now you need to do the CYU on page 351, and you need to do problems 1 through 6. If you don't understand them, rewatch the video or come get help from me.